haven't been around because I haven't been around. Wasn't last year, but the year before. The year before I was with Ron trying to get.
All of those gathered this morning and around the country tomorrow to remember our veterans and those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. The scale of sacrifice is staggering, as evidenced by Canadian military deaths in 5 wars. 267 deaths in South Africa, 47,000 dead in World War II, the 516 who perished in Korea, and most recently, the 158 fallen from Afghanistan. We also remember today the more than 1,700 Canadian soldiers who died on peacekeeping missions. We remember today all of those brave men and women who had their lives changed forever, and those who never came home. We remember the magnitude of their loss on family, on friends, community, with so many programs and organizations committed to honoring and supporting our veterans. All of you represent the very best of our society. To me, you are living proof that not all heroes need to wear uniforms, that service is what happens when it is quiet and in the chaos, when everybody is watching and when nobody is watching. And that is what is most important, how we uphold this in every aspect of our lives. I want to express my deepest condolences to Diane Knight, Anna Loveman, Kathleen Smith, and Valerie McGrady, the 4 Silver Cross mothers in attendance this morning. While I never had the honor of meeting Michelle, Kyle, Demetrios, or Matthew, I do view them as heroes, given their supreme loyalty and duty to Canada, along with their honor, integrity, courage, and selfless service. I also want you to take comfort in knowing that the staff and the students of Longson Public School share these views, as evidenced by their commitment to creating a school culture where acts of daily remembrance were common practical initiatives that transpired at that school. This is a very small snapshot of our society, which will hopefully infuse love, hope in your hearts about our youth and the sacred duty of remembrance during these difficult days to follow. It is a privilege for me to be here this morning with people. Its lyrics should resonate well with everybody.
I talk about her. Everything I do is in memory of her. I received an education about what service and sacrifice really means when Michelle was carried home. She was the 118th soldier to fall, and I wasn't paying said, what is your role in the veteran community? I would say I'm a human connector. I connect people, I connect places, because before I knew better, I think people just don't know what to do to remember. And just even today, as I look around at all the flags and the pictures and communicating with everyone before the ceremony of asking for input to have an interactive gathering, I'm so grateful for everyone that came here today to help me put this together. I read recently that if we sweat more in peace, we bleed less in war. And all of you have been out there sweating with me in one way or another. And I'm just so grateful for my journey. And on the ride up here with Michelle's friend Francine that I met after Michelle passed, I said it's so bittersweet. It's such a bittersweet life that I live, to have all of you in my life and to live a life of purpose with all of you. But Michelle's not here. And I just want to honor her and remember her and say her name. Say her name, say all the names of the fallen, say all the names of those that sacrificed so much. Many went over, many didn't come back, and those that did come back came back wounded. And so when we're out on the highway of heroes, and we're remembering all that gave some, and some that gave all, we are combating those invisible injuries. And there's so many people around here. I could spend an hour talking about all of you. You know it. I share it on social media. I share it with you, and I'm so grateful. And if Francine and Tony could come up here. The very first day that we were out cleaning the Highway of Heroes. She was in her OPP cruiser, wondering what I was doing on a bridge. And she had her female cop persona going on. And I've loved her since. She grew up with Michelle. I love spending time with her, sharing the same space. So a few weeks ago, we were on the Highway of Heroes with Premier Ford, and Tony was there with her boys. And the Minister of Environment made 2 scrolls for her boys for coming out. This was the first year that we had the youth out on the Highway of Heroes cleaning with us because it was time. We had been out there for 4 years, 95% mental health, 5% picking up garbage. And her boys were out there picking up garbage. So I wanted to give these to her so that her school, so that her children's school can present these to her. And that is leading by example. That is sending a message to the other youth that they're surrounded by, that you can make a difference, and that every little bit does count. So there you go, Tony. You're welcome. And Francine, this is the very last Highway of Heroes jersey that I have from last year, and it's a goalie cut. Richard was supposed to be the goalie this year. Daryl was supposed to be the team captain this year, and I've had it, and I've wondered who it's going to be. I'm sorry that it's a goalie cut, but
freedom today, they too will be remembered.
Police officer, Corporal retired Simon Tile, will read In Flanders Fields.
In Flanders Fields the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up the quarrel with our foe. To you from falling hands we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Field.
Make his heart swell. He wore it in the rain and in the sunshine. touched to honor his sovereignty, and clutched it to stand over the dead. He threw it to show celebration. He sat on it if seats were all wet. He polished his windscreen when dirty. He drank through it to settle a bet. His cap badge was something he'd fight for, surrounded by friends he could trust. That cap badge was something he'd die for honor was always a must. He now stands on top of his wardrobe. It's a cap badge polished to a high steam. He smiles as he glances up at it and nods when he sees it and still clean. Reminds him of the days spent together.
What would happen to you? Stepped in the dirt, it's on the ground. Gunfire was the only sound. To yourself you whispered, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Too late to help, please God. Never
come now, did ya? Brother falls down to the ground. The enemy is all around. From your lips you scream, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Right till it was done, had the strength to carry on. Much better back home, did ya? Try each day, pushing through. Battle lives on inside of you. It's cold and it's a broken hallelujah. Hallelujah. My hands in the dead of night, asking God for a better life. And I know that He
Silver Cross Mother Anna Loveman from 2014, remembering craftsman Kyle Sinclair. Silver Cross Mother Diane Knight, remembering Major Michelle Knight Mendez, April 23rd, 2009. Silver Cross Mother Kathleen Smith, remembering Private Dimitrios Dipleros, December 5th, 2008. Silver Cross Mother Valerie McGrady, remembering Corporal Matthew McCulley, May 25th, 2007. And Kyle was lost November 21st, 2014. We'll stay for all. Now I'm going to name all of those of the fallen and those that have served from this community. World War I fallen, Dean Blacklock, Alex Chisholm, Solomon Clapper. McLean Lord Phillips, Donald Ross, Charles Sargent Jr., Harry Slater, John Swain, Clark Thomas, and Percy Thomas. From World War II fallen, Ollie Amen, James Archer, Edward Callan, Keith Hare, Arthur Herndon, Lloyd Johnson, Gordon Locke, Fred Lonsbury, Clark McMurray, Harry Richardson, Melvin Robson, James Root, Alexander Rutherford, and Glenn Taylor. Newman, Drum, David Farley, J.G. Finley, Nelson Fish, Stanley Fisher, Alex Ford, Fred Green, D. Hay, J. Hay, Harry Hare, Ken Hartford, William D. Claude Howard, Gordon Ireland, Bernie Irwin, Wallace, Harry and William Lee. Arthur Lloyd, Lord, Vernon Lord, Herbert Marshall, Harold Nicholas, Harry Oak, Jamie, Joe and Lark O'Brien, David Orrick, Bruce Peebles, William Purdy, Curry, Herman Batchelor, Gordon Bates, J. James Baxter, Frederick Beatty, Jack Beatty, Francis Bahar, Joseph Bahar, Bert Belmont, Gordon Blacklock, Azetta Blodgett, Wallace Boyd, Robert Broomfield, Roy Broomfield, Harvey Bryson, Harold Bull, Phyllis Bull, John Cable.
Early Remembrance Day service, especially this year when the services are going to be smaller, if any, and fewer and farther between. So it's great that we can be here and honor those soldiers who served. And today, especially, honoring 4 Silver Cross mothers and seeing you come up and lay your wreaths. You know, we talk about ultimate sacrifices. Those ultimate sacrifices are all for yours. And that's the biggest honor I think that we It was emotional to see you come up, and I'm getting worse. And Terry with her emotions in her introduction. I just was thinking, my mom always said, don't worry about that because it shows how much you care. So, on behalf of Elmwood Calderman Township, I thank all of you for attending, and I'll make sure council knows everything that happened here today, and really appreciate everyone being here, and all the organizers. Thank you.
You all right? Yep. Can you take some sweets or a sandwich home to Ron?
No, because he doesn't know.
Extremely special day. Talk about it.
This was so touching to me to have all these wonderful people come together, and it was just the most beautiful service ever. What a wonderful way to honor all of our fallen soldiers. We will never forget them. Thank you.
Having the 3 other Silver Cross mothers here, just listening to you for that. Just listening to you. Shit. Just listening to you for that moment, it's a special bond.
It is a very special bond. We don't even have to say anything to each other. We're all feeling the exact same thing, and we're just honored to have our children honored in this special way, and we all feel exactly the same way.
Carrie.
Carrie is the most amazing person I've ever had the pleasure of knowing, and for her to bring the people that she did here today and to honor every one of these fallen soldiers, and to have Dave Sofa here, who painted the portrait of all of the fallen soldiers from Afghanistan. Absolutely amazing.
If I can get this out, Carrie's always said, when you know better, you do better. She was always felt bad before Michelle passed. Never asked you this before, but what would Michelle think of what Carrie's doing?
Michelle touched so many people's lives in such a special way. I know she's watching over us today, and she would just thank Carrie for continuing to honor all of the soldiers in so many beautiful different ways. She would be so happy.
Sometimes, Carrie, I get the impression that she's ashamed of not knowing before. She's got nothing to be ashamed about.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. We do better when we know better, like she says. It's so true. And I have to keep reminding myself of that too, because it's very easy just to go along and, kind of have your head in the sand and not know what's really important and what all of these people are doing for us, for our country. And so we learn every day. I learned so many things from Carrie that I never knew before.
What this day meant to you?
It means a lot to me, that seeing the people that care and remember our fallen. It's the one day of the year that everybody remembers, or this week is the 1 week of the year that people remember, where we always remember every single day of our lives. And it's very uplifting, and it helps me deal with the struggles of the last 12 years.
Does it let you know that you're not alone?
Yes, it does. Since I've met you, Pete, and Carrie, and the Highway of Heroes and the veterans, I've matured a lot. I've been able to actually cope better with the loss of Dimitri.
And forgive me if I get this wrong. Do you remember coming along the highway when your son came home?
Yes, I do. Because it was a very heartbreaking. There was 2 other boys that were killed at the same time. And when we went down the Highway of Heroes, and I saw all the people out on Nielsen Avenue with "We love you, Dimitri, we miss you," and just all the turnout, it felt great that even though I had lost my son, the people had actually seemed to feel the loss as well.
What this day means to you, why did you have this day?
We're at the Grafton Cenotaph to remember and honor Major Michelle Knight Mendez, the 118th soldier to be carried home from the Afghanistan war. I've met many Silver Cross moms and dads on my journey in the veteran community over the last decade, and I thought it was important to reach out to the Silver Cross moms to ask them if they would like to join us with military members and veterans to honor their sons and daughter. And in a pandemic, it's so hard to do things right, and we're here today on November 10th when this area won't be busy, and it can be more intimate, more safer. We can gather as a community and to honor those that gave their lives to Canada, and gather with those that served our country. There's a saying that all gave some and some gave all, and I think it's so important to remember, and I think it's so heartbreaking that we're in a pandemic, and Remembrance Day will not be what Remembrance Day normally is.
Where did the mothers, how far did the mothers come from? Obviously Diane's from Grafton, but I mean...
Yeah, Diane's from Grafton. Kathleen Smith, Demetrio de Pleros's mom, she's up near Aurelia. Valerie is up in the Toronto area, and Anna Loveman is in Port Hope. We have been gathering in the veteran community. We do a lot of work on the Highway of Heroes. I recently came across a quote that said, when we sweat more in peace, we bleed less in war, and people that gathered here today have been doing a lot of sweating with me on the Highway of Heroes when we're picking up garbage from Keele Street in Toronto all the way to Trenton. And when we're picking up that garbage, our initiative is rooted 5% in the garbage collection and 95% in mental health. And the 95% unfolded here today. I've never held a Remembrance Day ceremony before, but I felt it was really a devotion to duty and a responsibility for me to honor Major Michelle Knight Mendez, to ask her mom to let her know that, ask her mom to come out and let her know that we're thinking about her. I've really been saying a lot this year, say their names. I think it's really important that we say their names. Those that sacrifice so much for our freedom, those that sacrifice so much for the life that we live in Canada. People drove 3.5 hours from the east and 3.5 hours from the west to come here. These are people that have cleaned on the Highway of Heroes. We're one great big Highway of Heroes family, so it's nice that it was a very interactive ceremony where the veterans and the families of the fallen were all participating, all saying what's on their hearts and minds.